I got to shadow the supply chain team at Maxim Integrated this summer as well, and they were more on the logistics side, and so they dealt with like customer escalations and SQL databases and Tableau and all that, and pulling that information into the charts to share with the customers that we're providing products for.
So we're here with Natalie Frauenheim, who is a supply chain major graduating in 2021. Natalie interned this last summer near Dallas with Maxim Integrated. Natalie, thank you for taking the time.
Yeah,
Can
absolutely.
you tell us a little bit about your internship?
So this summer I worked with Maxim Integrated. They're a semiconductor company. We make computer chips, and so this summer I worked as a schedule analyst intern. And essentially what that is we get a group of engineers together and we use this thing called the project success method. And so to start the project success method, you gather a team of engineers. So you'll have test engineers, design engineers, apps engineers, then you have project managers and all that. So it's a big group of people, and you get together and you have a planning session. And at this planning session, you basically edit templates to fit whatever product you're working on. And so you put all that in the software called Primavera, which is basically what I ran the whole time. And so you put that in the software, and from there you host bi-weekly control meetings, and you just meet every 2 weeks, and the engineers will update you on their progress of where they're at with the chips, with their designs, with the testing, all that. And so what I did is I got to run the software for all the meetings. So we had like a project manager, and I worked close with them, and he'd be like, okay, we need to look at this critical path, like what is going to push this date out, and what can we pull in to make this date more accurate and all that. And so basically the project success method is relatively new. My supervisor used to work for Project Success Incorporated, which is a company that uses this method. And so it's like you can learn it in 5 days. There's a book, it's super easy, and it's really effective. So I worked underneath the automobile unit, and just since like we've used it for 7 years now, 7 to 9 years. And the increase of like the sales in the automobiles and the time that it takes to get things done is just more accurate now that we use this method. So, and there's 6 business units, 3 of them use this method, and so we're trying to implement that into all of them so everything can be rolled out more efficiently and effectively.
That is so cool. So you learn project management, which is huge for the rest of your career. You can apply it to anything, because everything's a project that you're going to work on. When you go study, work on a project for class. So that's cool. You also learned how to work across different areas, and the one thing that you said that jumped out at me, I'm an engineer, so you had to work with engineers.
I did have to work with engineers. I got to work with engineers. It was a big learning curve, especially because my first day I sat down and I was with my mentor, and I sat in a meeting, and they're going off about all these different engineering acronyms, literally such easy things like GBD, for example, is guaranteed by design. You could just say guaranteed by design and I know what you mean, but instead Maxim had this like exclusive glossary that would take forever to load, but it was fine. And I would have to go through and figure out like acronym after acronym. And so that was a really big learning curve because I didn't understand engineering jargon.
Thinking through your summer and maybe the structure of it, what were some of the cool things that you did? I know you told me about a trip you take.
Yes. My 4th week, I believe it was, they sent me to San Jose, which is Silicon Valley pretty much. And so the main reason I got to go was we had a planning session there, and so I got to shadow the first day of the planning session, because typically a planning session can last anywhere from 2 to 3 days, and you're there from like 8 to 8. Like it's a long day, but it's like a very productive day, and you need to just get this down and ready like to go, because our projects typically will last 2 years. So like it'll take 2 years to roll out something that we're working on. I got to do that for 3 days, and I got to see the office. I got to meet the vice president of the central engineering group, and we got along really well. And it was just nice to meet all the other people in the project management group also, because there's only 3 in Dallas and there's like 10 in San Jose. So it was a great experience.
Awesome. So, and you had a mentor.
I did have a mentor. My mentor, she was great, especially because like the company was engineers, and so she wasn't an engineer. She was a marketing student at Baylor, but she just turned 25, and so it was nice to have somebody young and somebody just like relatable to deal with. And she was brilliant. She just knew what she was doing, and she was extremely patient, because when I'd get on the computer and run the software for these meetings, like, I'm just like, it's daunting because there's so many people watching every action that you're, you know, conducting or whatever. And so it was just nice for her to be like, okay, do this and then do that. And she never got mad at me. It was nice.
Going into the summer, you know, what were some of the things that you wanted to accomplish?
I wanted to learn how to deal with other business people and just how to grow in like a business environment, because like I said, I've never been there. In college, it's so different, you know, because I went from like a class sporadically to like having a full like 11-hour day just because my drive was long. I clocked out for lunch, and you get 40 hours a week kind of thing. So just that in general, like, even though I loved project management and I loved what I did this summer, I think just learning how to be a business person and be a businesswoman in the business industry was definitely the most valuable thing I learned this summer.
So I know you're heavily involved in WISE and engaged. Could you talk some about that?
Yeah, so I am involved in a group called WISE, Women Impacting Supply Chain Excellence, and luckily this year I get the opportunity to serve as Vice President of Communications. So basically I will help the LinkedIn, we have a website, and I'll work with other people on like the marketing team. So it's been really great, and Professor Thomas has so much up her sleeve. We're having a future symposium where all these like other schools are coming in, and we can show them how we do supply chain and all that. And so with my experience this summer and with like WISE, I know that I will be able to be successful because I'm not afraid to like just be myself in a work environment, even as a woman.
I think I know what you're going to answer, given that you're a junior, but what was your favorite course?
So as I was saying earlier, I haven't had the opportunity to take that many, but so far, Intro to Supply Chain is my favorite, just because Professor Thomas, I mean, she's involved in WISE, but she's not just involved in WISE, she's involved in you. Like, she cares about what you do and how you do it. And I you know, supply chain's still relatively new, and I didn't know even what it was. I just was like business, accounting, finance, whatever. And then I was like, walked into Intro to Supply Chain, and I was like, why is nobody talking about this? Like, this is a phenomenal degree. Like, there's so many like routes you can go in that. And so yeah, just hearing about it, getting like the whole like broad view of it, I just really enjoyed it. So
fantastic. So what part of supply chain do you think you may enjoy the most?
That's a tough one, just because I honestly still am really young. I don't know yet, but I got to shadow the supply chain team at Maxim Integrated this summer as well, and they were more on the logistics side, and so they dealt with like customer escalations and SQL databases and Tableau and all that, and pulling that information into charts to share with the customers that we're providing products for. And so honestly, I see that as very interesting, and I'm also getting a minor in business analytics, and so I'm hoping that can catapult me into something more technology focused, as long as I can get there, because Excel's definitely, it's a feat, but we're getting there. So. And
then you'll be able to connect it to the finances, because I know you're also a major in double major in finance, and I appreciate you taking the time here.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the Greek Theater, the very first day of class, and so thank you for that. I know you're busy, and
thank
you.
Yes, I know. Thank you. I'll see you later.